In this video, we're going to show you how to fit the helping hands, the new version, onto the Louet Jane loom. We're looking at a 40 centimeter 8-shaft loom. The same helping hands fit on the 16 shafts and all the widths. The first step is to take the beaming brackets. There are 2 of these and they go on each edge of the back beam. The shorter end goes towards the back and you simply take it to the edge and press to install. And to release it, just slightly lift up on the bottom and pull it off. So it's very easy to do. Now I have a work chain wound. I have my cross tied off and I have inserted the leaf sticks in the cross. So with the length of the work going over to the top of the loom, I am going to take these bases and put the leaf sticks in the little holes that separate them. And then you just very simply slide it under that tab and press down. I'll do the same thing on the other side. There, all set. Before I untie my ties on my cross, I'm going to insert these little locking pins. It's extra security in case, I don't know, you knock everything off. You won't lose your cross. I'll just press those in. If they're a little hard to go in, you can press them together with some pliers or something, but usually they fit just fine. Okay, now I'm ready to slay the reed. I'm going to put the levers down. And you can use the LoftyFiber raddle that clips on, or you can use the built-in raddle. Either way is fine. I'm going to slide these over a bit and I need to start about right here. I'm going to be doing this with 6 and 8. I'll let Tempo Weave help me calculate how to spread that evenly. These rattles have 4 dents per inch. So now I'll just pinch off at the cross and I'm going to do 8, 8, 8, 4 in this 4 dent reed. For 28 inches per inch on this one to spread it evenly. So all I do is, and I always do it where I wound these doubles, so I want to do multiple such that I have a clean break each time. It's just the way I do it. So it's very easy to pull off the 8, 8, 8. And then I'll get a 4 this time. So I'm going to continue this all the way across. Now we're all spread in the raddle. So what I like to do now is I'm going to turn the loom around to the front and show you how I pull on the choke tie to bring those edges. We want to bring these loose ends here. And different warping boards will have a different amount of length after the cross. Some are very short, some of the reels, some are long like this one. So we're going to pull these up so that these loops are around the edge of the leaf stick. So I take my choke tie, I'll wrap my finger around it, and I start to gently just tug and bounce it a little bit. And if the warp is a little sticky, you can help it along by reaching back. And then be getting all the slack out of these loops. Okay, I'm going to take the apron bar. This one has a metal one, you may have a wooden one. And I'm going to remove all but one of the little ties here. And I'm going to start going through the loops on that leaf stick that's closest to the back. And we're going to put, there's a center mark up here marked from the factory. So I'm going to more or less try to split my warp at that line. And once I get to that point, I'm going to reattach the textile. So that's about where I want to go to. always make sure that the texoff is coming up around the back beam. Otherwise your loom will not weave correctly. So you just make that little knot, slip it over, and continue picking up on the loops. And this saves the lashing on step. And now we can kind of spread it back out and put the final texoff right here. So, and to do this, if you're not comfortable with it, you just fold over that loop, and in that opening you pull the two ends through it, and that makes the little knot that secures it. So now we're ready to beam. When beaming on the Jane, you want to turn this crank counterclockwise. Always check to make sure that that's centered, and at this point it's time to start putting in some paper or sticks, and also to come and tension it here. And I generally do this by myself, and come through and smooth it, thumb and index finger, and I pull in sections. And see, when I pull, make sure that it's making sure that any slack is taken out of the warp, and you push any slack back towards the area. But I really like to cover up these cords at first because they can cause some tension issues. So I'm going to do that now. Push the sticks up from the back. I put extra ones in here at the first because I don't want these tie-up cords making any lumps in my warp. Now our warp is beamed, and the next step will be to, well, we'll cut the ends here, and we'll remove the threads from the raddle. But first, we want to put on the threading brackets. And these threading brackets, there is a left and a right one. Okay, the left and the right threading position. This might be a little confusing at first, but if you'll just think about putting it on the loom, we're going to put it up here. These, you see these two positions here, both of these can hold these bases. We're going to move these into either the upper or the lower position. I'm going to move them into the lower because that's easiest for me to thread. And to think about this, when you're thinking about, oh, how do I orient this on the loom? we want these bases to be very close to the heddles so that we can easily see our threads coming off the leaf sticks. So I know right now that I can't put this one on this side because, so first think about, I want my bases to be close to the heddles. So I know I need to come over like this and just snap it on. So now you can see that there's it just fits right over the bottom. You can adjust it if you need to, but if you'll look right here, and it's a little hard to see, I've got those two positions that the base can go in. The upper one is easy for you to see in the camera. The lower one is a little harder to see. So I'm going to put this bracket on the other side of the loom. So again, I'm going to do it such that the positions that the brackets are going to fit in are closest to the heddles. So I just simply snap this on. Just press it right down. And at this point, these tabs right here, I'm going to push back and release the bases because I'm getting ready to move them down here. Okay, I'm going to cut the ends of my warp here and take off that final choke tie. And I'm done with the raddle, so I'm going to take off the caps and lift these ends out. You can just drop them in front of the leaf sticks. Then we'll move into threading position, and the helping hands have done a nice job. Just drop these on down. So picking up my warp, bases are here, and like I said, you could put it in the top or the bottom. On the 8-shaft loom, you may decide you like snap it into the top position. My guess is if you're on the 16, you'll prefer it on the bottom. Show it going into the bottom. And now it's in place, ready for threading. So now you can see I've got the reed flip back over for easy access. I have my leaf sticks in place and the threading brackets using the lower position right now. And as you can see, the cross is very visible, and it will be easy for me to sit here and pull off each thread as I go through my pattern. Now that threading is complete, I'm going to release the bases from the bottom position and move them up. This way the threads will come straight across from the back beam through the center of the heddles, making it easier to slay as well as tie on. So now we have the warp tied on, and it's time to unhook these leaf sticks. I'll first take out the locking pins. Now I can easily slip the bases off. And at this point, you can either pull the leaf sticks out or leave them in at the back for a moment as you check the threading. The helping hands can actually stay on the loom if you prefer, or you can take them out and put them in a little bag for next time.